When you think of Mark Cuban, you most likely think of Shark Tank or the NBA franchise the Dallas Mavericks. However, Mark made his multi-billion-dollar fortune from a completely different company that you most likely have never heard of that was the pioneer of video and audio streaming.
All the streaming, everything YouTube does, we started that.
Not only that, but you also may not know that many people, including Mark himself, have called Mark one of the luckiest billionaires in the world.
Look, somebody had to be the luckiest guy in the world,
as he sold billions of dollars worth of shares of one of the most popular companies in the world just weeks before one of the largest and most devastating stock market crashes the United States has ever seen. Mark has repeatedly claimed that becoming a billionaire involves luck at a certain point.
If you want to have a B next to your name, you got to have a lot of motherfucking luck.
But a billion, just something good has got to happen.
However, is he just being modest? Mark began his business career at just 12 years old and has created and sold multiple companies as a result of his hard work. Additionally, after becoming a billionaire, his investments into things like the Dallas Mavericks and companies that appeared on Shark Tank have only continued to skyrocket Mark's net worth. Is the fact that Mark became a billionaire solely due to him being lucky, or can it be attributed to Mark's work ethic? Let's find out. Mark Cuban was born into a working-class family in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1958. Neither of Mark's parents had a college degree, but they worked extremely hard to give Mark and his siblings a good childhood. Mark credits his parents as the reason his work ethic is as strong as it is. Mark's first business venture was going door-to-door selling trash bags to his neighbors when he was just 12 years old. He had an extremely simple pitch.
Do you use garbage bags? Do you need garbage bags? Well, let me save you some time. I'll bring them to your house and drop them off.
Mark would buy the trash bags for $3 from his friends, then resell them to his neighbors for $6 a bag. He even gave out his parents' home phone number to his customers and told them to give him a call anytime they needed more trash bags. Little did Mark know that this small trash bag flipping business that he was running in his neighborhood would be the first step on his path to building a multi-billion-dollar business empire. As he continued growing up, Mark became obsessed with all aspects of business and found all different types of ways to make money. After moving on from the trash bag flipping business, he started collecting and selling rare stamps and coins. A few years after that, during a Pittsburgh newspaper strike, Mark would run the newspaper from surrounding towns and cities into Pittsburgh and sell the newspapers to customers who were affected by the strike. After graduating high school a year early and initially attending the University of Pittsburgh, Mark ended up graduating from the Kelley School of Business at Indiana University. Mark chose this school solely because it had the cheapest tuition out of the top 10 business schools in the country. During Mark's time at Indiana University, he would meet perhaps the most important person he would ever meet, Todd Wagner, who would eventually help Mark invest into a company called audionet, but more on that later. A few years after graduating, Mark moved to Dallas, Texas, where he got a job as a computer salesman at Your Business Software, one of the first PC software stores in Dallas. Similarly to his trash bag flipping business when he was just a kid, Mark had no idea how significant this job at Your Business Software would be on his path to becoming a multi-billionaire. After being fired from Your Business Software for meeting with a potential client as opposed to opening up the store, Mark founded Micro Solutions, a company that focused on systems integrations and software reselling. Mark was able to successfully launch Micro Solutions with the help of the clients and connections he had gained from his work selling computers for Your Business Software. The same clients that Mark had at Your Business Software became Micro Solutions clients, and the company quickly took off from there. Micro Solutions eventually reached over $30 million in revenue, but not without some bumps in the road, such as when the secretary working for Mark forged company checks and stole $82,000 from the company, leaving Mark and Micro Solutions with only $2,000 in the bank. This massive loss ended up causing Mark and his employees to get their shit together, and Mark eventually ended up selling Micro Solutions to CompuServe in 1990 for $6 million. After taxes and giving his employees massive bonuses, Mark pocketed around $2 million. Mark was now officially a millionaire, and he started doing millionaire things, like buying a lifetime flight pass from American Airlines for $125,000 that would let him fly anywhere, at any time, for free. But even though Mark was spending a lot of money, he was still working harder than ever. In fact, his next business that he was working on would be the one that truly changed his life forever, and would put a B next to his name instead of an M. In 1995, after wanting to listen to the Indiana University basketball games but unable to find a way to do so, Mark Cuban would make the most important investment of his entire life. Todd Wagner, Mark's friend from Indiana University, introduced Mark to the owner of a company called audionet.com. At the time, AudioNet was run by a guy who was streaming the audio of his local sports games. Basically, one of the first internet radio companies in the entire world. Here is Mark explaining the concept in extremely simple terms.
And allowing people to connect to the server and do a progressive download so that the audio, you can listen to the audio while it was downloading onto your PC.
Mark knew that he was sitting on a massive goldmine that no one knew about.
Because there was no other competition, right? There was nobody else doing it.
So he agreed to invest and become the majority owner of the company. After Mark took over, he expanded AudioNet to include music streaming as well. And in 1998, the company began supporting video streaming as well, and it was subsequently renamed to broadcast.com. Just like Mark said in the clip at the beginning of this video, this was the YouTube before YouTube. Since this concept of audio and video streaming was so unique and revolutionary, the company began exploding in terms of popularity. In July 1998, the company IPO'd on the New York Stock Exchange, and its share price skyrocketed nearly 250% on the first day of trading, from $18 to $62.75, which was the record at that time for a first day IPO. Being that he was the majority owner of the company, Mark's shares were now worth well over $300 million. As if the jump from $2 million in 1990 to over $300 million in 1998 wasn't dramatic enough, Mark's net worth would rapidly rise even more the following year. In 1998, the dot-com bubble was in full effect. All of the stock market indexes were hitting all-time highs as internet-related companies were dominating in every aspect. As such, broadcast.com became a highly sought-after company and was eventually bought by Yahoo in an all-stock deal for $5.7 billion. Since it was an all-stock deal, instead of receiving a lump sum of money from the sale, Mark got shares of Yahoo stock. His shares were immediately worth well over $1 billion. As Yahoo continued soaring in value as the dot-com bubble was raging, Mark sold his shares for a whopping $2.5 billion, officially becoming a billionaire at just 40 years old. But here's where you get to decide whether Mark was super smart or just super lucky. Because literally just a few weeks after he sold his Yahoo shares, the entire dot-com bubble burst, and the stock market, Yahoo included, plummeted. As such, Yahoo's purchase of Mark's broadcast.com is commonly regarded as one of the worst investments ever made. Here's Mark in 2013 explaining exactly what happened.
I got all this stock from Yahoo, and everybody else thought the internet bubble was going to keep on going forever, right? I'm like, there's no way. So I sold calls, bought puts, so I protected my stock. And so it went up in value some more and went up to where my hedge was and then cashed me out.
I see.
And
so
then the whole market cratered and I was protected.
when you cashed out, Yahoo went up a little bit more, and people said to you, "Oh, aren't you sorry?
Well, exactly
Why
right.
didn't you hold on to it?" And you said, "I've got $2.5
$2 billion.
Well, how much
$2
do you
billion.
need, right? That's exactly.
And you didn't get greedy. I mean, you could have kept saying, "I'll stay in another day. I'll stay in another week." And if you had waited just a couple of weeks,
Probably about 6 weeks, I would have been fucked.
like how badly fucked? You might have lost $1 billion.
Oh, more than that.
More.
Oh, yeah. No, Yahoo went from like $300 to like $5.
Mark himself claimed that due to the timing of him selling his Yahoo shares, that he was the luckiest guy in the world.
Look, somebody had to be the luckiest guy in the world.
And has repeatedly stated that becoming a billionaire in general requires a lot of luck.
But, you know, it does take luck. I don't care what anybody says. But the reality is, in order to become a billionaire, the one thing you have to have is luck. Any billionaire who tells you they could just do it again, no.
Whether you believe him or not, it's undeniable that Mark has worked hard to get to where he's at. Most people who just became multi-billionaires would most likely retire forever and never be seen or heard from again. Mark, on the other hand, has continued working hard and has remained a prominent businessman. In 2000, Mark bought a 73% majority stake in the NBA franchise the Dallas Mavericks for $285 million. Under Mark's ownership, the Mavericks won their first NBA Finals championship in 2011 and has seen dramatic increases in ticket and merchandise sales. In December 2023, Mark sold his 73% stake in the franchise at a reported valuation of $3.5 billion. If we do the math, 73% of $3.5 billion is $2.5 billion, meaning Mark turned his $285 million investment in 2000 to $2.5 billion. Not too shabby. In the same year that the Mavericks won their first NBA Finals championship, Mark made his first appearance on Shark Tank. On Shark Tank, Mark is known not only for his funny moments where he calls out scams.
No thanks, go ahead, you keep it.
It's Dallas Mavericks blue, just for you.
That's okay, you keep it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mark, are you allergic to positive, negative ion stuff?
No, I'm allergic to scams.
But more importantly, he's known for making a lot of deals with the entrepreneurs. Since joining the show, Mark has not only made the most amount of deals with 243, but he also has the highest average investment, with his deals averaging an investment size of $283,000. Additionally, Mark has invested in a couple of the most successful companies to ever appear on Shark Tank, which I will go over shortly. But before that, remember that unlimited flight pass Mark bought from American Airlines after he sold Micro Solutions and pocketed $2 million? Well, after becoming a billionaire, Mark hit us with one of the biggest flexes of all time.
Do you still use that?
I gave it to a friend. My friend has it now because I have a plane.
That's right. Mark Cuban now owns not one, but two luxurious private jets, a Gulfstream G550 and a Boeing 757-200. Looking towards the future, it seems like Mark's fortune is only going to continue to grow. One of his most promising current investments is a 3D printing rocket production company called Relativity Space that is one of the biggest rivals to Elon Musk's SpaceX. Mark invested $500,000 into the company after the founder cold emailed Mark about making an investment into the company. Relativity Space has since grown to a valuation of over $4.2 billion. And since Mark was a very early investor, it's safe to say that he has already made a significant paper gain on his investment. Another promising aspect of Mark's investing future are his Shark Tank deals. Mark has been a part of two of the most successful Shark Tank deals ever done, Dude Wipes and Beatbox Beverages. Mark invested $300,000 for 25% of Dude Wipes and $1 million for 33% of Beatbox Beverages. And as of 2024, both companies are worth well over $200 million. Assuming Mark has maintained the same percentage of ownership, his investment in the companies are now worth at least $50 million and roughly $67 million. And both companies continue to show signs of growth. As of 2024, Mark Cuban's estimated net worth is $5.7 billion. How much luck, if any, do you think Mark had to have in order to achieve this?